Hi, welcome to Talking Tech. I'm here with Alex Smelt, who's account executive at Box. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Caroline. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. We are clearly not at BLTF. You and I were scheduled to talk in my media booth, and I think it was actually my fault. I wasn't there, but it was great. It's great to catch up with you now.
No, it was such a busy day. It was so much fun as well. So, you know, we were super busy on our booth, and we also did our speaking slot as well. So it's tricky to catch up on those sort of occasions, isn't it?
It was, and do you know what? I really loved the fact we did a lot of interviews, but then we also got to engage with the conference. So one of the reasons we were, out and about is just to engage with vendors at their booths and make sure that we weren't just sort of shut away. But I'm glad to have you here with me to talk about BLTF, because we were scheduled, and we're going to talk now about a little bit about your talk, because as you said, you had your a session. So tell me first about what was the talk about?
Yeah, so what we did was we shared the stage with our friend and client Karim, who heads a team of engineers at Travers Smith. We talked about AI powering automated workflows in the legal industry. So it was great to get Karim's insight. We dug into some topics. So we were looking at how we believe that we're entering a new era of work. So if you think about through education, so there's new lawyers coming into the legal industry who have gone through their whole university career probably and their work experience training on AI models nowadays, and they're going to come into the workforce. And when you look at clients and their expectations, standards are going up. They're expecting greater value from what they get in terms of a service, and there's a belief that AI will be an expectation as part of that service in the future. So for us, and what we were exploring in the talk was to facilitate for that, there is a new era of software coming in, we believe. So, we've done the DMS stuff, we've done the systems of in collaboration, but perhaps now we're moving into a new era that looks like the system of intelligence. So, these systems will probably be based and built upon AI. They'll either build on top of or replace the previous two as we move through. And the idea is that, if you look at any firm out there, 95% probably plus of their data is unstructured. It's, their case documents, their photos, their videos, their evidence, and all the other outputs that loads of their processes have. But today you get limited value from that. So where Box sees, the ability to automate workflows comes from knowing what's in a document, and AI is the great opportunity to unlock that. So if you think about it, these models really thrive on unstructured data. Box are the specialists at unstructured data, but just generically, how do you automate unless you know what's within the content that you have? So the theory is that if you're able to unlock the value and understand what's inside that 90% of data, you can automate almost any workflow. That was the premise of the talk.
Great. And how did Travers come into that? Because you're talking about some of the work that you've been doing together.
Yeah, so it was very much a thought leadership piece. Like we love working with the guys at Travers. Their fingers are on the pulse. They're very technologically minded. And Karim gave some insight as to the way that they view AI and the future of it. Can't recall off the top of my head, specifics in that, but they set a lot of value in the future of software going down the AI route. And he talks a little bit about some immediate use cases, including like having that kind of like consultant or PA on the shoulder type experience. So yeah, it was really valuable to have them there, 100%.
Okay, great. I do really love these thought leadership sessions. Excuse me, losing my voice. Tell me about this year. So it's a big year for law firms. They are thinking about AI. It's an exciting year, but it's also a difficult year where there's a lot of pressures on firms right now. There's a lot of competition for their time and their budgets. A lot of them they're at different stages of advancement, I would say. Some of them have still got legacy work to do with the cloud, and then they're being asked to be fully caught up with Gen AI and providing use cases, etc. As you mentioned, clients before, the clients are now, I think this year, going to be looking for those use cases. What do you see in terms of the biggest shift in legal this year?
Yeah, I think
AI.
you totally like hit the nail on the head in terms of there's obviously pressures and there's also demand, and that's what we discuss in terms of supply for new employees, or demand in terms of clients coming in and expecting higher value, and perhaps AI being a part of that expectation moving forwards. We look at AI agents entering the workforce as a huge shift for technology in general. And we believe that will be a position that will, or a situation that will unlock millions of pounds of efficiency savings. So, that agent to agent, agentic workflows, etc., unlocking AI's capabilities being the real big, shift. I think that there is, perhaps setting a timeline on it, like this year. I don't know. And I think that, even speaking to a lot of firms whilst we were at the conference and getting their insight as to where they're going and what they're doing, I think that it's yet to be determined exactly the place within the law firm, or the application where it's going to have the most value and have the biggest shift. But what is great from our perspective is that these organizations, law firms, are built upon so much content, and there is so many processes and workflows that ride on that content or output that content. There's a great opportunity there for them to leverage AI to drive efficiencies. And and when we look at AI as well, I think that sometimes there is an expectation or a perception that it's going to be an assumption that AI agents will be primarily deployed to do exactly what we do today, or enhance a process we do today, or replace a process that we're doing today. But that is not necessarily the case, right? A big value from this might be unlocking and solving new problems that we perhaps don't even know exist today, or being able to focus or improve areas of a firm that there is no spend on that today, because perhaps when you couldn't do it at this pace, at this scale, you wouldn't look into that department or that area of the process because it was perceived as too expensive for value output. But maybe that might shift. And I think in terms of the quality of the solutions on offer, or the quality of the models, we're doing studies all the time, as is everyone, and finding that the reasoning capability of these models is going up exponentially. So I think that should be something that law firms are really excited about. For instance, if you look at a complex contract review that might have required looking at 2, 3, 4 sections of a contract, and maybe comparing that to satellite documents that are in other, contained in other documents, or maybe they're even other types of content, to understand whether the contract's been breached or whatever is required. Historically, models may have struggled there, but these new the new versions or the new entrants to the market are really showing greater ability to reason. And what's great, one of the great things about Box, I suppose, is when there is innovations in this space, we don't restrict to a model. So we want to be able to provide our clients access to the best development that's happening there. So plug in your own models, or access the best ones available for each workflow. And I think that one thing that's going to be super important is having that flexibility to choose, and making it easy for your users, I suppose, at the end of the day, to be able to leverage all these capabilities.
Yeah, I think it's a great point about, we always think that there's going to be, at each advance, we always think there's going to be perhaps less work. With e-discovery, everyone thought it perhaps would be less, but actually we just do more of it now. We've got the capability. I think the agent to agent point is super interesting. I think there's you know, not for now because we're kind of at time, but I think it'd be really interesting to revisit that. At the conference, I spent some time talking to people about what that really means in legal, and, you know, had some fascinating conversations. And I think this is going to be a brilliant year to have these types of conversations and really start to unpick what it really means for law firms, and to try and have a deeper understanding of that. So particularly around the agentic AI, where we're just sort of saying, oh, it's going to be super important this year. It'd be great to have more of these types of conversations to really start to learn what that means and how it's going to work. So yeah, but no, thank you. I really appreciate you making the time to speak to me, and hopefully we can revisit some of these themes later in the year.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, always nice to speak to you, Caroline. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Alex.